Hey guys, it's me Laura. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 5, 10, and 12. I also work at a library part-time, and I am creating literature-based curriculum that will be releasing soon, which I'm really excited about. But as you can imagine, with all of that, I do a lot of reading. However, I'm also really busy, so I can't always read as much as I'd like. So it's an interesting conundrum. But I am doing the mid-year, let's see, I have notes to make sure I get it all right, the mid-year book freak out tag, and I saw this from homeschooling, and I think I've seen a couple other people post it since then, and I thought I should definitely do that. Had planned to do a monthly reading update, but I just have not done that. I've been so busy, I have not done that, but I'm thinking now if I try and do quarterly updates, that might be better than nothing. So that is what I am working on. So for this quarter, I'm going to go ahead and do this tag. So the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? And this was actually a NetGalley pre-release that I read called Light Comes to Shadow Mountain by Toni Buzzio. This is her debut novel. She's written many children's books before. You guys, this book, I absolutely loved it. Obviously, I can't show it to you because it's not out yet, but I loved it so much that it's going to be the prototype box that I create for the curriculum to let families try, and hopefully it'll be the first box release because it is just so good. It is set in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's a story of struggle, this whole idea of progress versus tradition, and it's just a timeless story and so beautiful. And I don't want to say too much, but I have a full review of it that I will link below. So the next is the best sequel that I've read this year, and that is definitely Just Beyond the Very, Very Far North. I haven't read a whole lot of sequels, to be honest, but this one is super cute anyway. I love these books. If you love Winnie the Pooh, which I absolutely do, the narration style is very similar. The characters are so lovable, and it is just such a sweet story. It's a great one to read in the middle of winter. It's also a great one to read if you're ridiculously hot in the summer. So either of those two times would be great to read it. But you have Dwayne the polar bear and all of his friends and the antics they go on. And this is one that is especially good for really little kids, but the characters are so endearing and the stories are so great that it's one that the whole family can enjoy. And I believe the Brave Writer just released a new dart on this that will come out this year. I know they have The Very Far North, and I think they added Just Beyond the Very, Very Far North for their upcoming. So if you're looking for that for your homeschool, it's a great choice. Number 3 is new releases I haven't read, but I want to. This list is absolutely extensive, but when I think about the book that keeps coming to mind over and over again that I keep wanting to get to, it's actually from Book of the Month Club, and it's called The Wishing Game. And I really like books that have like puzzles and mysteries and stuff in it. And this one says, Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Cloak Island series by Jack Matterson. Now, at 26 years old, teacher's aide, Lucy is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. Just when Lucy is about to give up, Jack Matterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete to win the one and only copy. For Lucy, the chance of winning the most sought-after book in the world means everything to her and Christopher. But first, she must contend with ruthless book collectors, wily opponents, and the distractingly handsome and grumpy Hugo Reese, the illustrator of the Clock Island books. Meanwhile, Jack Masterson is plotting the ultimate twist ending that could change all their lives forever. So this book to me just embodies like, oh my goodness, so many amazing things. How could I not read this? So I really want to read this. I actually don't have time often to read many adult books. I really, really want to read this one. So hopefully I get to that one. Most anticipated new release of the second half of the year. So I have a cheat book first because I've actually already read it. It's coming out in August. It's called Tethered to Other Stars by Alyssa Stone Leahy. I don't know if I said that right. Leahy, Leahy is her last name. You guys, this book is so good. It is about a girl who is part Hispanic, but she's fully American, and how her family is afraid of ice and how that affects her, and just the potential of being separated from her family and dealing with bullying at school and just so many things. And it's got astronomy and it's got science, and it is so good. And I can't wait for it to come out so that I can get a copy even though I've already read it. So that's my cheat book, but I also have another one that is not a cheat book. I haven't read it yet, that I'm super excited about, If you followed along, you'll know that during the 1920s unit that we did, this was our read aloud about Ida Vidson and secret school and how they were going to shut down the school, but she secretly continued it on so that she could take her test and hopefully go on to high school. And at the end of the book, I don't want to tell you what happens, but without giving away too much for this, the sequel is coming out. It's called The Secret Sisters, and it's coming out, is it in August? I don't remember, but I cannot wait. We loved Ida, we loved the story, we loved the characters, we loved everything about it. The whole family is super excited, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on a copy. I pre-ordered it and just waiting for the day it arrives in the mail, and I'll be so excited. So that is definitely most anticipated new release coming out still. What was the biggest surprise? Okay, so I have two here. So this is one, oftentimes I'll go to Book Outlet and I'll pick up books and don't really expect much of them. This one is Cat Wolf Investigates, and honestly, when I started the first couple of chapters of this book, I almost stopped. I wasn't really impressed. It seemed like it was just unbelievable, not taste well, kind of not crazy about it. But oh my goodness, you guys, I got into it and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's about a girl who, her mom's a vet and she's really interested in being a vet, and she has these antics and starts to uncover this mystery and this crime, and it's just, it is so good. I loved it. If you like mystery, if you like suspense, especially in middle grade books, like this one is really good. It's actually, there's more books in the series. My son read this because I was reading it and I was loving it and sharing it with him, and as I was going along, and he was so excited, so my 12-year-old read it, and we got the other two books on his Kindle, and he's already finished, and I desperately want to get those in. I want to read them too because this one is so good. So that was not, I was not really expecting much out of this book, but it delivered, y'all. It was so good. And another one, I'm got one chapter left, which is killing me. I just want to finish it. But this is Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix, and her books always surprise me. You would think I would not be surprised. She wrote The Greystone Secrets, which was another one, totally surprising, not my normal genre. Fell in love with all three books. I'm also reading the Letters, I forget the whole name of it, the Letters series. She's got the first one out. I'm really excited about the next one coming out because it's going to be like this historical twist thing. So her books, I always feel like I'm not going to like this. I read the description, not real into it. A patron at the library actually recommended this one to me, and really she was like, this is not normally what I read. This is not, it's just not what I thought it would be, and it was really good. And so this is one of them. It's become a totalitarian government, and families are only allowed to have 2 kids, and there's a bunch of these third kids that are called the shadow children that are hidden away, and they have to hide and nobody can know they're there, about their life. And I'm about to finish the first chapter, and you better believe I'm going to be getting the whole rest of the series on my Kindle and sharing it with my son. He prefers to read on the Kindle. It doesn't really matter to me. I like having the physical book sometimes. I like reading on the Kindle sometimes, but he reads better on the Kindle, and I think he's going to really like this. So I think I'm going to get them on Kindle for him, and we'll read them maybe together. I don't know. But so good. Her books are always so good. I just really, I like her. She's good. But I thought this was going to be kind of like a horror based on the cover and what I had read. This is not what I was expecting, and it was good. The patron who recommended it was right. It's really good. The biggest disappointment of the year, I don't actually have it. I couldn't find the book. I have the book. And this is just weird. So Jennifer A. Nielsen is one of my absolute favorite authors, and she came out with Iceberg, which is about the Titanic, which I really loved. But this is the second Titanic book I've tried this year, and I think for me that Titanic stuff is just kind of, I feel like I've read so much about it, I've done so much about it. It feels like I'm hearing the same story over and over again, and I don't think that, I mean, I think as far as Titanic books goes, it's good. My kids absolutely loved Iceberg. They listened to it on audio. They love her books, and they just thought it was amazing. They don't have as much of the Titanic, like, overload as I do, though. So I feel like that was kind of more it. I was so excited about it because I love her books. And like I said, it wasn't necessarily that the book was bad. I think I'm just kind of over the Titanic. So I was kind of sad about that. My favorite new author, or new to me, or new debut, I don't think I have one. I think none of the authors, I have to read a few books from an author before I feel like they're just like, yes. I don't feel like there's anyone new, though, that I'm reading that I'm consistently enjoying their books. I have some of my favorites. I love Ruta Sepetys, I love Avi, I love Margaret Peterson Haddix. There's a bunch, but none of them are like new from this year. So my new favorite character, oh my word, you guys, Selah from Good Different. This is a novel in verse, and she is a girl who is autistic and is just learning that she's, what that means and what that's like and how to advocate for herself and what autism really is. And she is just the sweetest character, and I saw myself so much in her, and I really just loved her so, so much. And this is also, for number 9, this is also the book that made me cry. I was just sobbing because I don't think I've ever read a book that I have felt so seen in before. Actually, my counselor and I are debating on whether or not I should go ahead and do a screening for autism. She thinks that it's very likely that I'm probably on the spectrum somewhere. We don't know. And I don't know, I might not be. But this book, I felt like I related to in so many ways, and I was just a sobbing, blubbering mess reading it because it was just so, 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 so good. So I highly recommend this one. It's a super quick read because, again, it is novel and verse, but if you want to understand autism, if you think you might be autistic, if you are autistic, any of those things, this one is such a good read. Number 10, a book that made you happy. Okay, so this book is controversial. People seem to either love it or hate it, but it's The Ogress and the Orphans. I listened to this one, and I have to admit that there are definitely some places in here where it's a bit slow, it's definitely predictable. Is it the best book I've ever read? No. But it just made me happy. I enjoyed listening to it. I felt so relaxed, and it was a sweet story. And it's about this ogress who comes into town, a town that is struggling, and she is really nice to the people, but secretly, because they're not crazy about ogres. And it's about this orphanage with all these children, and I loved it because usually orphanages are always portrayed as this bad thing, but in this case, the orphanage, they were like a family. The kids were like siblings, and the people taking care of them really loved them. And it was just really sweet and really simple. And I think probably if I had read the book, it might have been a little slow, but I think listening to the audio book made it really great. And I don't know, I felt like this book just made me so happy. And it definitely is a little bit predictable, but for the age group that it's written for, I think that kind of makes sense. I don't know. This one made me happy. Number 11, The Most Beautiful Book. I don't know that I've gotten a lot of like absolutely gorgeous books. I'm not one that will buy books based on the cover necessarily, like based on a beautiful cover, because I don't want books just sitting around that I'm not going to read. But this one, which I really want to get to, The Lion of Larkhays Manor, I do actually love this cover. I know that this part is a little bit creepy, so I'm not as crazy about it, but that, oh my goodness, you guys, that part of the cover, it's just so whimsical and magical, and I don't know, I think it's beautiful. So, I don't know. I guess this is the best one for that. I don't know. There might be some too that are on my Kindle because I have a lot of Kindle books as well, but that is that one. And number 12, the last question is, what do you need to read by the end of the year? And that is so clear. So this book I need to read. It's called The Big Dreams of Small Creatures, and it came out at the end of last year, and my oldest grabbed it before I could read it, and he started reading it, and he loved it, and he says, I need to read it. And I really want to read it. I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's a great one to talk about the environment. And how many times do you find books that feature bugs, like that are great to go along with the bug unit? It's just not very often. So I'm hoping that this one is as wonderful as my son said, because if so, I will definitely turn it into a unit that we will either just do for our homeschool, or it will be a unit for Tickets Learning. We will see. It's got a Jewish main character who's also black, which is also super cool. And basically this one kid who hates insects and wants to kill them all, and this other one who's trying to save them, and the insects in the book are magical. And anyway, I just think that it sounds good. So that is where I'm at for the year. I would love to know what books you are loving, and if you have any questions or want any more information about any of these books, let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to checking back with you in the fall to check in on how my reading's going for the year. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.